This is day 678 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. This week's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored by Nishmas Chana Feigl Baslai Bishmayer and Yenta, whose yard site is this week. May the Neshama have an aliyah. Today we are doing Siman Tov Tes Vav Aleph to Tov Tes Zayin Zayin. Tov Tes Vav. Din Deim Marvin El Var Mitzvah. You're not supposed to make Erev except for the Var Mitzvah. And Aleph, Ein Marvin Erev Tchumin El Var Mitzvah. For the purpose of Mitzvah specifically. Yesh Mitzvah Lamar the Zel Be'er Pas. So you make Erev with bread. Avo Berego. Make Erev with by going out to the spot. Marvin if you Var Rishus can you do it for an Avashal activity. If it's a difficult situation, we can rely on this. Similarly, with Yevid Var Rishus. What about if the Yevid made an Erev even for optional activity? Das Baruch goes in Erev, the Baha goes it's not Erev. Ram Bergva Pasuk Tave Erev. Ram says it's Erev. Rashba Kasam Bachali Be Mari Pas Mar Maraglov. Ram Rashba distinguishes between making an Erev with the bread and making Erev with your feet. The Pas Erev, the Erev with the bread, it's not about Erev Raglov Have Erev. It is about Erev. Rabbi says Pasuk Karambam, which is of course the Kula, and it's the Rabban Dikadin. Zelvadi the Kshir of Var Mitzvah. Now, if you made an Erev for the purpose of mitzvah, it's for sure. You can use it even for Varashus. But the reason why you don't make an Erev except for the purpose of the mitzvah is Pashat. The Bishlam Erev Chatzer Shitum so Atzmo mitzvah. Erev Chatzer Shitum Vos them stay themselves in mitzvah Teshalonico shall be sertiltu. So we shouldn't come to commit the prohibition of carrying. It's not really trying to avoid an isser. It's a convenience. It's because it says it's what you deem a necessity. Therefore, if it's a mitzvah, they're allowed to blow over the shows not an actual activity. I'm saying that kavanah mitzvah. Of course, it doesn't mean an absolute mitzvah. Even if it's not a Shabbos thing, I'm sure on Shabbos Yontif. It's also called a mitzvah. The bezero chachon gamkin latir chachon matir eikis when Shabbos simchas yontem neshazel mitzvah because that is a mitzvah. Across the Shabbos oneg yontem needs stavenu b'simcha. And Shabbos simchas yontem they are both mitzvahs. The Bisharatian says that Elio Rabba writes Shatzor Gadol Dafka. You can rely for the Varashus, but he says no. He says you can be Soymech Lakad Rabbanon any Makom Tzorech. Base. So only making a Erev to go into the house or to a morning or the house of a simcha of a chasna, which Brad saying it's true about a Sudas Erusin or the Suda of Tnoim. That's the Sudas mitzvah, and this question is an issue when Bas Tamachach was marrying an Am Oretz. Is that considered still mitzvah or not? Okay, be as it may, we don't make those distinctions that bad nowadays. In any event, if you're going to that type of mishdash, and soon Osham Mila or Bismillah, Shoshar Mitzvah or the Mitzvah, or to greet your rabbi or your friend who's coming on the road, even if it's not a chacham. If he's your friend and you want to meet him, it's a nice thing. Although the Mishnah Berurah says that your rabbi and says so specifically your friend who is a chacham. Ovakach Gamabim want to go to make sure that the manners of the masses are taken care of properly. So you're sitting with circle base, so you have to go back to your house. You have to go back to your house. There's a mitzvah ishta bizarro. It's a be with your wife and children. Because the Ramah says you want to go for a spatzir, a walk on Yotzev or Shabbos with Paradis or on Shabbos on the garden. When there's simcha involved, etc. That's also called mitzvah akal l'sharon. That is how we have explained it. But in other words, all these things are mitzvahs. Also, it's also a mitzvah. When you're afraid, you want to flee from from people who are robbers, listim, bandits. Have a dvar mitzvah. It's also dvar mitzvah. Anything similar. Even though Erev Chatzos, you can deliberately do it deliberately. Bein Hashmashos, when I'm Aber Erev Tchumen and by the Tchil Ben Hashmashos. Erev Tchumen the Chatchila should be before Ben Hashmashos. Zeu Tikkun Ma'aliyah. This is really this is much more of a fix. Vasmuchol Akroig, and they learned that some psukim. B'yevet, if you did banish Moshe's Eruv Erev, the Erev is valid. Therefore, two people said to him, "Save our Rev Aleinu, go make an air for us." Lechad Erev Alami by Yom. If one of them made an air before Shabbos, before the sunset. Lechad Erev Banish Moshe. Almoni made air during twilight. Zeu Shemi Erev Alami by Yom. One whose Erev made before Shabbos began. Lechad Erev Banish Moshe. His Erev can be in Banish Moshe because it was already intact as the sun was setting. The one whose Erev made during twilight, his Erev can be eaten after night falls. And Shtei Kono Erev, it's not considered tied to the Sasrei paradox, because they're both suffering Rabbanon Kula on both. By Spar Tam Din said Besim Shin said Gimel Ayin Sham. Yesh Chok those are so the Tchumi Gam with the Erev in Mo Besh Mashos. Also, the by Tchumi Im the Erev does not work with Mashos. It says in brackets Das or Ben Tam to Sham, Rashi Sham, Ram Perk Vav. Rashi Ram Perk Vav, Paschal Kedev Sham, but the Ramam and Rashi both Paschal in the Kula. The halacha says, nevertheless, if you left an Erev Ben Hashmashos of Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yossi, this time is still definite day, you suddenly can be Mekel. This is the first 13 minutes or so. So what the Robi Shainim hold that Ben Hashmashos does not Erev Tchumen is not effective. So maybe, but the Rambam is certainly somebody who one can rely on if necessary. Dalik Sheminei Erev Tchumen, when you put down the Erev Tchumen, you make a bracha shekh shem mitzvah tzman al mitzvah seir. Because then Eruva, and you say the formula, but then Eruva with this area Charlona Yemutali, sorry. She mutzah to me Makam playing Alpine Amachar Ruach from this place, 2,000 amos from the city, 2,000 amos, well, wherever this is, see, 2,000 amos in any direction. If you make an air from many people, and Baruch Momer Gamkein, you make a bracha, and you also say Bahane Rivian Motel Pliny, so and so. Or for all people in the city. Rabachan Makevas Brachas an impediment of the Umlo Marbadein, Bukhuli Maki, we did not say the formula, it is an impediment and it doesn't work. Mishnah says, but the average, we just said this should be an Erev. That's good enough. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, Ma'avakad Erev Regel Ain't Suchlim Ar Klum, even though when you make an Erev by going to the place where you want to be Kush V'sa, you're not going to see anything. So because you're standing place of V'shvisa. Erev pass, but an Erev with bread, Lo Amar, if you don't say it ahead of time, you're not there. But what makes an Erev? What makes it recognizable Erev? You're leading Birech, Lo Amar, but if that's the case, you made just the bracha and didn't say Bar Eruva, that indicates that's an Erev, and that would be Havi Erev would suffice. Mishnah Berurah is not clear. The Shara is not clear about that. Tough Tet Zayin. Dina Erev Tchumen b'Yontav Asam Shabbos. The Dina Erev Tchumen on Yontav, which is juxtaposed to Shabbos. Shnei Yom Tov Shagoyos, 2 days of Yontav. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippurim. Av Kam Le'Erevin, we hold Masech Erevin. The Shabbos Yontav. Shabbos Yontav Shabbos Yontav, which are juxtaposed to each other. Because Shabbos Yontav comes on Arab Shabbos. Or Yom Rishon or Sunday have Shtei Kedusha, 2 separate days of Kedusha. Klomar meaning Shtei Yom Tov Pesach, U'Shvuos Sukkos Nikroim, and Nikroim Yom Tov Shel Golios. Also, and this is similar to 2 days Yom Tov Pesach, Shvuos Sukkos, which is called the second day is Yom Tov of Golios. In nation of Eretz Yisrael, Rak Yom Echad, Ham Shekush in Eretz Yisrael, they only make 1 day, so these 2 days are going to be 2 separate, distinctive days of Kedusha. Because in truth, only one of them is really Kadosh. Just because of suffix, you make 2 days. The other Rosh Hashanah, only other Rosh Hashanah is different. It will be one long Kedusha. It's long, like a long day. Many times she's born Bakamacher for the reason which be clarified elsewhere. Shabbos Yom Yesh Pluli Mar Sham. Shabbos Yom is Machlekes Gemara. Vasita Dichos Shnei Kedushas. Same conclusion that the 2 Kedushas Kach they have no connection to each other. Base. The field Yom Tov Asam Shabbos Infinite Ben Acharel. Therefore, Yom Tov was just chasing the Shabbos, whether before or after it's Chin Shnei Yom Tov Shgolios. So to 2 days of Yom Tov of Golus. Yochadam Arav Shtei Ruchos Yom Rishon Mizrach. You make 2 Eruvin, one the first day to the east Beso of his house, Yom Shei Mar Beso, the second day to the west of his house. relies whichever one he wants on the first day. Arukh Sheni and Erev on the other direction for the Yom Sheni for the second day. Miniach Shneim Erev Yontif. And you leave both of them and make both of them an Erev Yontif. V'chein Yachol Erev Yom Rishon. Also, you can make Erev for the first day of Yom Sheni. And make a second day can be like your every other member of your city. Or Yom Rishon Kivnei Ir. The first day the members of your city Yom Sheni Yachol Erev, and the second day they will take effect. Yom Shu Kivnei Ir. On the day when he's like the members of the city, Yeshua Paim Amal L'Chol Ruch Miro. He has 2,000 amos to each direction from his city. Yom Shechal Erev, and the day that the Erev takes effect, Yeshua Paim L'Chol Ruch Mimakam Erev. And the day when the Erev takes effect, he has 2,000 amos from the place of the Erev. V'mvarach HaShneim, you can make a bracha on both of them. V'omer, Panei Ruvi and Mut, well, you make a bracha on both Erevin, and it's one bracha on both. V'omer, Panei Ruvi and Mut Lilech, B'echam Shneim Ruach Zeh. One day I should be able to go this direction. V'chein Erev Shein, on the other day, the other direction. Mocher, Yivar Le'ez Shir, the next day you clarify whichever one you want. For example, the Chumi Yesh Breim, Nation Rabban, because you already wrote at Chumi, you can retroactively clarify because it's the Rabban. Kimo v'zel b'Shabbos Yontev v'Shneim Mishal Goyos, which is Shtei Kedushos. Our Rosh Hashanah Shneim Yemim Yom Kamech, but Rosh Hashanah that both days like one long day. And Yochol Erev Rak Shneim. But Erev you make is effective for both days, and you can't distinguish. If Yom Echad have a Kimare v'Chatzi Shabbos, make an Erev for only one day. It's like making an Erev for half a Shabbos, an Erev which is not effective at all. You can make a stipulate on your Erev. Yom says Erev Shabbos Zuvalo Shabbos Acheres. I want Erev this Shabbos. Now we're the Erev next Shabbos. Shabbos Ches, Shabbos Zu, vice versa. Okay, Ruby Erev Shabbos, the other Tommy. I want Erev and Shabbos not Yontif. Yontif with Shabbos, so vice versa. Shabbat notes, if you're leaving with several weeks, you have to constantly surveil it to make sure it doesn't get rotten or wormy. Because that happens very frequently, especially in the summer, and it may even get lost altogether, which is a problem. Back to the Shulchan Mimir, Yochel Arif Erev Echad Gam L'Shabbos Yontif. You can make one Erev for Shabbos Yontiv, the two, which are the 2 days of Golios, to 2 days to one direction. Shabbos Yontiv. Not sure what the Kiddush is. Akineg is a chumrah, but contradicts this. There's a chumrah. Each day you have to make its own, acquire its own shvisa. Because it's singing each other. So you have to actually have a separate kiniyah shvisa on each one. And I see. So you can't make a kiniyah shvisa on. You have to have in mind that your shvisa for Friday will be on Thursday night, and your shvisa for that's Yontif is Friday. So then, and your shvisa for Shabbos is going to be on Friday night. You can't make a shvisa on Thursday night for Friday night. It's too far removed. But that's not true by Rosh Hashanah. And Rosh Hashanah, there, since the 2 days of Yom HaRichta, you can make an Erev for both days at once. Okay, so a better distinction would be Yom Shein and Shogolios. You have to make an Erev for each one of the days. But the Rosh Hashanah, you can make one Erev for both days. Now, if you have Yom Tov Shabbos, Yom Tov Shogolios, every Yom Tovim and Shabbos, Yom Tov Shogolios, Shemar, Pass when you use bread, so Shia, Erev, B'Shlemus, Gam Ben Hashmoshos, the Yom Rishon, the Erev has to be intact by Ben Hashmoshos the first day. The Be'er shows between the first day and the second day. If you never, if the Erev got lost, ain't no Erev Yom Hashem, no Erev second day. So what do you have to do? What do you do if you're using bread? You bring it on the first eve of the first day. Erev Shabbos. Mach love and wait till it's night falls. But not lo biyodem the yontiv b'albeis. If it's a yontiv, you take it back home with you because you have to carry it. Machar malicho and then the next day bring it to the same place. Michal sham and leave it there until it gets dark. For Ochlon, you can eat it im hoyol leil Shabbos if it's for Friday night. Or mavirim yirtzek shul leil they'll bring it back home if it's yontiv night. Nechab rishon have an erev l'rishon v'lo l'sheni. If it's eaten on the first day, then it's erev only for the first day and not the second day. Yeah, but I think that even though that's true, you still say the formula and the bracha before the first day. You don't say a separate bracha. For well, I guess maybe you do. Maybe I got wrong before. Um, I guess you do make two brachas. As long as it's two kedushas, you make two brachas. Not like I said before. And anyway, you have to make the erev on the eve of that day. So yeah, you would make two brachas and two formulas. Okay. Uh, um, Shatia said it's a place where it's safeguard. You don't have to bring it back home. Just leave it, and when the Ben Hashmosh the second it comes, it'll automatically be koine, even though you're not out there, because you assume that it was nishtamer properly, that it was safeguarded properly. Um, okay, hey, vim air bragov, you didn't make air by walking out there. So you have to go out the first day and the second day. Shom Rishon the first day, yeah, Shom Ben Hashmosh be then of twilight. You actually believe Bashik Shoshis and have mine. You can have Shvisa there. Don't say anything. Also, so Shuma Chana beyond the Shabbos. Or be Shabbos Yontav and Yontav Rishon Sheni. I made a mistake. And Yom Rishon means that between the first day and second day, like before, you should go there or Ben Hashmashos, stand there, don't say anything, right? Because you're not that will be making a chana. Yontav Shabbos, Yontav Rishon Sheni, or Yontav Rishon Sheni, all of which are not permissible. If you believe Abraham, which is impermissible, even just by talking. Koshkech and Yochel Arab pass, certainly can use bread, shlo, ire, bobi, or rishon, uh, uh, which you did not use for in the first day. That was the bread has to be the same in the first day. They should simply krosel of Shem Eruv, because you would have to designate it as an Eruv, and then Shemech Meyom that means you're preparing from yesterday to today. So the Kaddish, but as you're saying, you're the same bread, it's already designated. You're not being mechadish or anything on Shabbos as a preparation. Erev lo have erev, use it would not be an erev. Of amirim amar have an erev, but the amira is okay. The other says chatchila b'b'diavad, when you used bread and you made an erev b'yatavishon shokolios for the next day, b'diavad it works. The Sivim Shabbos yontav Shabbos, b'diavad when you made even b'diavad when you made the bread. Where the bread was used yesterday, it's no good. I'm confused about this. Okay. I'm not sure why this distinction. Mishnah wants to say a distinction between if it's Yontif Shabbos Yontif versus Yontif Sheni Rishon Yontif Sheni. Yontif Shabbos Yontif, you have to use the same bread. Yontif Rishon Yontif Sheni, you can use a different bread. Okay, Vav Zerkal is the principle. Ir Berishon, the Machal is made here first day with food. Im Ratzah L'Arab Ragla B'Sheni. If you want to make it, you go stand there for Yontif Sheni. I raise the air that's valid. That's in a Machshava. You should do it in thought. Omar and Zichu, he said it's not a problem nevertheless. And what's the Arab Pascha Hashem? We want to use bread also second day. Tzarech Arab Dafko so Pashir Barishon. You have to use the same bread you used the first day. Shein Tzarech Lo Marklum, because they don't have to say anything. Shukar Lo Shem Erev, because it's already designated as an Erev. Can Eno Mechin Klum, so it's not being Mechin at all. Mimir Pas Acher. You use a piece of bread. And Erev, it's not about Erev. Also, that which you're allowed to go stand there the second night. And barisham or pass but it's only from the first night you use bread or walk there. Actually, you didn't make an error, but all the first night. Nearly asare baragla b'sheni of heel below dibor. Can't we go? You stand there even without saying anything. The zave achana gemura b'davar chadash, and completely new. It's a complete achana. Since that way from Lion Shots, which says they made an Erev with a pass on the first day, My Ragul Shen, you could make an Erev with your feet on the second day. I forgot to have a shinu meir pas Ragul. It's even totally changing from bread to your legs. Mishnah Kapai Nikol Love Shem Erev Rishon. Because still maybe I call an Erev on the first day. Venachon Nikol Kokach, and the Chon is not so recognizable. Sheni Lawyer of Klab Rishon, as opposed to you didn't make an Erev at all the first day. And Yochel Arab Sheni B'Shum Dor, you can't make an Erev the second day in anything. In Erev love Erev. In Erev it's not about Erev B'Shum Dezoah Chona Gedoyla. It's a major preparation. Mr. Burke explains that initially he would have been ushered to go to this place outside Chum, and now that he allows them to do so, it's great hachana. Okay, it's not all these halachas are somewhat ambiguous and it's arbitrary to me because it seems like all this is just going through motions. But it's like Erev Tavshilin. Certain things have to be done in a certain way, otherwise it doesn't work. The Zion closes the Shabbos Yontiv and closes the Shabbos Yontiv Shneim Time Shagolos. This is all Shabbos Yontiv or 2 days of Golos. Abba Shnei Yom Time Shoshana, but 2 days Rosh Hashanah. Ma'arei be'erev Yontiv Shneim you can make an erev on erev Yontiv for both days. Feel Necha B'Rishon means eat on the first day, have erev L'Shet, still an erev for the second day. Okay, Ragul B'Rishon if you went out there bodily on the first night, and so Ragul L'Shet don't go out bodily the second night. Zeu Das Aram Berches. That's Ram's opinion. Rav Sham Cheleklev. Rav argues to the Rak Chumrah. Only Chumrah meaning Kedusha Achasi. The local not to be lenient. These manners we just spoke about. So therefore you have to go stand there also on the second day. So to use bread on the first day. V'nechon got eaten up. And has no air for the second day. I am chum. Avrod Poskim Skin Ram. Most Poskim with the Rambam. The Gamei Shav Rabban Kedusha Richla. In all respects, Rabbanan made long kedusha ba'aveh. It's a Torah tchumin rabbanan. It's not a Torah prohibition because tchumin rabbanan. They said mitzvahs eruv. They made up mitzvahs eruv tchumin. And they said Rosh on kedusha. Well, it's a leniency or stringency. That's psaka the Torah as well. Okay, that's it for today.